Hello everyone. It is Thursday, yes, July the 10th, 8th, 9th, 9th. And we are going to make a couple levels of cards here. So this is a simple stamping that I've done right now using the Lovely You bundle. This card I have cased from Stampin' Up. They designed this card. They used slightly different colors. Well, they used totally different colors. They used the magenta, but then the other colors they used were different. And they did not use this stamped image. They used a different one. So I've changed it already a little bit. But what we're going to do is take this simple card and we are going to make two other versions. So we're going to step it up 2 times over. So I'm just starting to work on my Lovely You class to go, and the Lovely You stamp set is this one here. It is already one of my favorites. I love the font in here. I love so many of these greetings, and additionally we've got all these cute little stamps that we can use, and you can see we've used them here to make our background. So we're making our own DSP, and then it comes with this really cool label punch. So this label punch, hello Teresa and Kathy. This label punch creates 2 different types of labels and in 3 different widths. So it has a 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, and a 1 inch. So we're gonna play with the label punch, we're gonna play with the stamp set, and we're going to step up this card. And this will just give you a taste of what this class to go would be like. The colors that we are using here, I have used Mango Melody, Calypso Coral, and the new Magenta Madness. And if you're wondering how I decided to put those together, I am using, Stampin' Up! Always gives us some color coaches. There's color coaches for the entire color family, and they always come out with new color coaches when there is the new in colors. So I am taking a look at this one, and I used Magenta Madness, Mango Melody, and Calypso Coral. It was the closest to what they were using. They were using Magenta Madness, Bumblebee, and Pool Party. So I just changed that up a little bit. Okay, so let's get started. I've already pre-cut a lot of our items so that we can sort of breeze through this quickly. And I'm going to turn over this paper so we are not distracted by the red, because I find the red can be distracting. Okay, so we're gonna keep this card off here to the side. So this is just our standard card base, 5.5 by 8.5, and then scored at 4 1/4. Okay, and this piece here, this piece of Whisper White, is 5 by 3 3/4. So we're essentially going to do the beginning piece here is just going to be exactly the same. So I've already got these 3 stamps mounted. You can see we've got these 3 little guys, and I've got my 3 stamp pads. So when in Stampin' Up's card, they use the leaves, and there's a few other leaves, but I felt because I wasn't really using a green color, I didn't want to throw those leaves on there. I wanted to have more flowers. So that's how I decided which ones to use. Totally doesn't matter. So we're basically stamping half of the bottom of this piece of white, and you're just gonna go around and sort of randomly put your stamps. So I had started with the coral when I did the first one, so we will do that again. Doesn't really matter. I just figured this was the biggest image, so that's what I chose to do. So I'm just gonna go along and we're gonna stamp it all over. More or less like I did before, because I liked that. Oops. But it doesn't really matter. I might do that again up there too. Okay, so that's that color. I'm gonna just stamp that off. We're gonna use this again, so I'm just gonna put it to the side, but I'm going to close it because we know what happens with opening pads. Nothing good. Then we're gonna take this Magenta Madness. So this is a very vibrant pink, but lots of people are really loving it. So it just kind of depends what kind of a person you are, whether you're like totally digging it, or if you're like, yikes, that is a bit electric. I love it, but I'm mindful of how I'm using it. Maybe that's my best way of saying what I've got going on. So I'm just going to take this piece here because I kind of want to see, I'm going to do that That's gonna be fine. And I'm gonna do another one over there. So again, because we're using Stampin' Up's Whisper White paper, which is incredibly good quality, if we didn't like what we had going on here, and I didn't when I started my first card, you just turn it over and you just start stamping again, and you can't see through it. It's the bomb. Okay, so now we're gonna take our mango and we're just going to stamp this cute little symbol sort of all over. I feel like this one's a little busier than the first one, but you know, that's cool too. It doesn't really matter, it's just all about what you love and what you don't love. I actually kind of want some of this over here. So I know that's kind of gonna, there we go. Yes, love it. Okay. So we're gonna put those away. We are gonna come back to them. So what we are gonna do with this piece is we're gonna tie some ribbon around it this time around. We're going to stamp on it, and because we're going to have the ribbon, we're going to have dimensionals. So this is the original card. We have dimensionals underneath this white piece. Because I'm going to pop up this layer, I'm not going to put the white piece on dimensionals. You totally can, but if you're mailing lots, it's not going to be too thick, but it just, you know, it's a bit thicker in your envelope. So when you're mailing things, you might want to make sure that you might be trying to keep them pretty flat. We're also going to probably add some embellishments to this. We could emboss the black too, that would make it fancy, but I don't want to do too many steps. This is just our first level of stepping it up. And then the next card, you see, we're gonna do lots of fun things with that. So we're gonna take our sentiment, we're gonna take our memento. You could use your Stays On, any kind of black that you want. Additionally, you could use a different color if you didn't want black. My go-to when I decided not to use black is typically to use basic gray. I just think, you know, gray, a little bit softer than black, but still a very grounding neutral. Espresso is like that as well, but it depends if you want the brown tones. Okay, so we've got all the pieces again to make this card. We're just gonna step it up. Oh, we have to do these little guys. So we're gonna do these little magenta flags. So I have already cut all these pieces to 1/2 inch, and you can see we're gonna make 5 little banners. So this guy is a little too small now for me to place in here and be able to hold. So you can see I've got it in there. I'm just gonna punch, and I'm gonna punch both sides because then we're just gonna cut ourselves some little flags, and we're going to attach those to the front of our card. So there's 2, and we're gonna do 5, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so there is 5 of those for now. We're gonna do some more for the next version, but we'll just start with these. So we're gonna take our snips. I made them quite long for this one, so I know now that I don't need to. We really just need them showing off the end. But we do need them sort of long enough that, so let's just get a good sense of how long we need that. We kind of want it about like that. And then we will cut all of them roughly the same. I totally freehanded this when I did this the first time. I'm just trying to avoid having to cut more strips of this magenta in the middle of this video. Okay. So another, oh, I just thought of something fun we can do in the next card as well. Okie dokie. All right. So we've got this piece. This piece now, like I said, we're just going to put this down flat. And then we're going to have some fun when we put on the rest of it. So we're going to get out our Stampin' Seal. This is Stampin' Up's new adhesive. It replaces the snail. So not sure if you already have this, and I've been using it in my videos and trying to show you guys the little tips and tricks. And there's another really great video that I have yet to watch from another demonstrator who tells you sort of all the same tips and tricks, but even what to do if it gets stuck. So I need to watch that one. So I'm just going to start off, and I'm going to roll on, and then we're going to come straight up so that we get all the adhesive stays on there, keeps rolling. Going to do the same here, here, and here. Okay. Oh. I think I had some adhesive on. Man. Okay. I was using my adhesive mat to do stickers on my red rubber, my clear cling stamps that weren't the sticky kind. So that was what was on here. We're going to center this on here. All right, and apply that down. Okay, we're gonna move that aside. Now we're gonna take this guy and I'm gonna run some of this along the edge because we're going to put these little banners on there. Sorry, I realized those are out of the shot. Okay, so we're gonna put some of this here. That should be enough. And then what I'm actually gonna do, I'm gonna line these all up. We'll see if this approach works. I can see on my first card, they're not perfectly straight, which, you know, is just a sign of a handmade card. So I don't fret about that kind of stuff anymore. Because honestly, where's it gonna get me? Nowhere. Nowhere fast. I feel like even now these aren't straight. Okay, and then I'm gonna just take this and line it up. Okay, I liked that approach. So the only problem was I didn't have enough adhesive far enough down my card. Otherwise, I think that worked well. The other option would be line it up this way. Okay, so there's this. Now I've already cut a strip of this Magenta Madness ribbon. So this is the in color ribbon. This ribbon is really nice to work with. It's easy, it's not slippery, it's easy to tie, it's easy to trim the edges. It's one of these great, like twill, I think they're, maybe is what it's called, but it's a good one. So we're gonna add some ribbon here just to step up our card. So you could do a knot or you could do a bow. I'm gonna try a bow and see if I like that. And if I don't, then we'll switch it out for a knot. I also realize I might have cut this a little bit too short, so we might actually be stuck with a knot. So we'll just switch to that as opposed to watching me fumble trying to get a nice bow with not enough ribbon. I thought it looked like we had plenty, but okay, so we're just gonna pull one end. That allows us to keep that really nice knot feature on the front. And then once we've got it, we're gonna pull both ends. And then we're gonna trim that. Okay, so we are gonna pop this up on dimensionals, which I had. I'm just looking, clearing, oh, there they are. Hiding, hiding, hiding. All right, and I am going to put 3, I'm gonna put 1 on each end, and I'm going to put 1 in the middle. Sometimes what I would also do is I will use some, I'll use a combination of big and small, the mini dimensionals. That way I don't feel like I'm using up so many big ones, but you're just getting a little bit more contact everywhere you've decided to pop your card up. All right, so we're gonna place this, line it up. So now that is popped off our card. And now we have the ribbon, which we did not have for the first one. And then we are going to add, I think, a few little embellishments. So these are the Artistry Blooms adhesive back sequins. And they come in coral, cabana, mango, and razzleberry. So we are using both coral and mango. So we're gonna pull out some of these. They come in different sizes, which will be nice. All right, let's get these guys out. So those are our 2 colors, the coral and the mango. You could even use, honestly, this razzleberry, because it would kind of bring out the magenta color. So let's put those aside. Maybe we'll use all 3. So I've got a little piece here I don't like, so I need to cover that up. So let's see. Another trick I have learned recently is that for sliding adhesive backed items off of these so that you don't, lose the adhesive. So we're gonna stick one of those there. And then we're gonna stick I don't really know. I hadn't really thought this out clearly. So I might do 3 down here. So those are all in the coral. And then I might do a mango. A couple mango ones up here. Sure. Often I like to do those in the opposite order. I'm just going to get my other, so I often like to do the big one. Usually when I use sequins, I very gently put them on at first because I have to decide that I like where I have them. So my gut would tell me to do the small one there and the big one up here. No, I think it was better before. Okay, so there is card 2, and you can see what we've added. So we popped this piece up, we added some ribbon, and we have added some sequins. Otherwise, we have the same card. We've just taken it a little bit further, one step further. All right, now we are going to go for stepped up version number 3 or 2. Third card, second version. Okay, so we have all of the same items again, just a few extra layers. So now we have an extra layer of mango, and I have an extra layer of Whisper White. What I should have mentioned here, this piece is 3/4 of an inch, and then it's the same width, so it's that 3 3/4. Okay, so those are those 2 versions. I'm just going to kind of put those over in the corner. So we have the exact same starting pieces. We have the mango, we have the Whisper White, and we have the Calypso Coral. What I have added now is another little small piece of Whisper White. So it's still our same 3 3/4, and I have cut it to be 2 3/4. This you can kind of play around with. And we have a strip of mango. This strip of mango is 1 inch, and at the moment it is 4.5. The longer the better. It's going to be a layering piece, so we're going to lose some of that when we use the punch. We're going to use these same strips of the Magenta Madness, okay? And then we're going to use our sequins again. We're going to do our stamping. So the reason I have 2 layers of white is I'm going to emboss this layer, and I'm going to stamp on this layer. So this layer that we used before and stamped on, I am now going to run that through with my Dainty Diamonds embossing folder. This has got to be one of my favorite new folders. I would say at the moment I have 2. This one and the Tasteful Textures, but the fern ones, greenery ones, they are definitely growing on me. So we're going to place this in here. This is one of these, this folder does not have a line on it, but it basically has a line inside, so we can line up our piece. Remember, we're always running it through with the seam, and I'm using the plate for the 3D folders. If you don't have that plate, you'd be using a shim. And starting in August, you'll be able to get Stampin' Up's new cut and emboss machine, and so then everything's a little bit different, but all of your original items will, the new things will work in your Big Shot, and if you don't have a Big Shot and you get a new one, Big Shot items will work in there. All right, so now we have that piece embossed, and we are going to stamp on this piece and place it over. So you can see already what's going to happen. The top's going to be embossed, okay? So we're going to do our stamping again. So we're going to pull out all these bits. We're going to pull out the coral. I really actually like how this one, I like that there's a bit more going on there. So I'm going to try for a similar arrangement. I like how that turned out. Put some up in the corner, which you probably won't see. All right. Kiddo is desperately waiting for the iPad. So he is not happy that I have chosen to do a video right now, but he was sleeping. I'm convinced he is growing, or hubby is convinced he is growing. Let's hope so. Not something else. I know you're not going to see that one, but looks fair to me to not do it to start with. Stamp that off. All right, bring out the mango. I'm really loving this color combination together. Do you guys like these colors together? I think it looks very pretty. All right, so there is our patterned paper done. Okay, so this piece is not going, oh pardon me, this piece is going to change. So what I'm going to do now with this, I'm going to I'm going to pull in this other side of the punch. So this, like I said, this piece is half, yes. So it's our smallest bit of this punch. So I'm going to put that in. And you can see it's not exactly half, so I'm just going to trim it down. I just treated myself to this trimmer. I have a guillotine trimmer, which I use for most things. Wow, that's way off half. That can't be right. Oh, that's because we're doing 3/4, folks. That would have been a disaster. So that didn't seem right. Okay. So put that. I'm still getting used to this trimmer, can you tell? Ha ha. Okay. There we go. Put that aside. All right. So we are going to, there we go, perfect. Put this all the way through. And then we are going to do the same on the other side. Okay, we're still gonna stamp on this. We're still using the same greeting. I'm gonna have to find some people to send this card to. I wonder if I know anyone who I'm good friends with, but doesn't live near me anymore, who might like to receive this card. You know what? That's crooked. I'm gonna try stamping it again. I don't think that was lined up quite right. Even though we put these labels on, sometimes they are not perfect. I think that one's better. Okay, moving on. Okay, then we are going to take this strip of mango, which is the thickest version, and we are going to do the same with it. So I'm going to punch it out. And then if it ends up being too long, we'll just have to adjust slightly. So now we are framing out this piece. So we're going to take our card front. This piece is going to lay down flat like our other one did. And carry on here. Okay. Perfect. This piece is going to layer on top of it. This is going to layer across the front here. Like that. We're going to pop all of that up. We're also going to do our little banners. And then we can add some more sequins because they were fun. Let's find our longest pieces here that I can put all the way in. is the only problem when your little strips get too tiny. You can't actually feed them in and keep them straight. So this is, and it's harder to use the Post-it note trick with these. So we have 1, 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these, or cut one, so that I can feed it again. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, we need another one. So I'm gonna have to get creative, or like I said, I could cut a longer strip, but let's try the Post-it note trick. So we're gonna get a Post-it note, we're gonna put it on the very end of this. It's going to allow me to pretend I have a longer piece of paper and feed it in here. I just gotta make sure it lines up straight. Perfect. Alrighty, so now we have another one. This is a fabulous trick. So I know I've done this Post-it note trick in lots of my videos before, but if you are new to me and you haven't seen it or you forgot about it, it is a gooder for any size of scrap that you want to throw into a punch. Okay. So let's adhere this down. And we're going to center that in here. That's not quite centered. We're going to move it over here. Okay. And then we're going to do like we did before. So I'm going to get my adhesive sheet. Ah, here it is. And I'm going to run some adhesive along the end here. We're going to line these up, just like we did before. It's very weird. I find these, I've got a new camera mount, which hopefully you're seeing. I have better lighting, and maybe you have a better visual, I'm not too sure. So I can see the iPad at the same time, so I could see if you guys were making comments, which no one is. What was I going to say? I've turned the, originally at first I had the volume on the iPad, and I've turned that off now, so it's weird. It's like I'm just sitting here talking to myself. Okay, now we have that. And so what I'm going to do first is we just kind of got to line this up. I guess I can actually just put a bit of adhesive across the top of this, because we're going to have this going like that, and we're going to pop the whole thing off. So I'm just going to put some of this along the top. And then we're going to center this like that. Perfect. So see, the silicone mat, there's adhesive on it, but you can just rub it off then, but it's not going to stick to whatever you're working on beneath. Take that out of the way. Get out our dimensionals. And then we're just going to pop some of these. We're going to go there and there. And then this is where I might pull out a couple of small ones, but I'm just going to keep using these because I've got them. Okay. So now this is going to pop off of here like that. We could even make it lower if we wanted to. We could, which I might do, to just showcase a bit more of the diamonds up at the top. So this is totally up to you at this point. Aw, thanks, Elise. So pull all these backings off. All right, and then we're gonna put this on here And like I said, I'm going to draw it down a tiny bit, which you would see if you're looking at your card from the side. I feel like most people don't look at their cards from the side, but if they chose to, so be it. All right. And then what I'm going to do on this one, we're still going to use these delightful artistry gems. What are they called? Artistry blooms. We're going to use this trick. I might throw on a couple of these. So I'm going to put a couple of gems right here. So I'm just trying to decide. I think they will be the coral. So I was thinking of kind of going like this. And like that. And then, do we throw on some more? Let's see. If we put a tiny one of these. This is the problem when they already have adhesive on them. Once you break them out, you're committed. But I might. I'm thinking of sort of playing into the diamond here. What if we do something like this? Or is this too close together? Yeah, I'm not sure I like that. But I'm not sure I want to put any down below this time. So maybe we kind of do a bit more like that. Yeah, I'm good with that. Okay, there we have it. All right, peeps, I think we're at roughly a half an hour. I can see that some of you are still with me, but some of you are not, but thank you for joining me all the same. Okay, so we're just gonna finish up here, show you what we got. So this is our original card that we cased from Stampin' Up. Simple, we're using the punch. We've used the punch here. Otherwise, this is just simple stamping on layers of cardstock, and we popped it up, okay? Version number 2, same elements. The only thing I added here, we added this ribbon, and we added these adhesive sequins. And then instead of popping up the white layer, I have popped up this middle layer, all right? That is card number 2. And then our final design, which is our, Avid stepped up design. So we have 2 layers of white, one that was embossed, the second that we did our simple stamping on. We have multiple layers of this punch, of our punch that we used. We added in a second layer of mango. We've added in our sequins again, adhesive back sequins, and then we have popped this whole layer up off the top. All right, so we have 3 cards. I'd like to say that I think they all look lovely. Hopefully you do too, so I would love to hear which one is your favorite. Please comment below if you have a favorite. I would love to know which one you liked the best. I'd love to know what you think about this color combination. And of course, I'd love to know what you think about this bundle. So I'm in the process of putting together my class to go. You would receive cardstock to create a simple design. And then ideally you would order both the stamp set and the punch. If you didn't order the punch, that would be fine because I can punch out the pieces for you. I can't do any of the stamping for you though, so you do need to order the stamp set. So in order for this class to go to work, ideally you need the stamp set, but I can do the punching. And I suppose if you chose not to do the stamp set, you would use whatever other images you had. So thank you so much for joining me. Hopefully you enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Hopefully it is not pouring with rain where you are. And yeah, that's it. Have a great day, guys. Thanks.